There once lived an old couple, Papa Joe and Mama Rose. They had spent many years together, raising 6 children in a quiet town. 4 of their children were married and had moved out to start their own lives, while the remaining 2, Victor and Lillian, still lived with them, working from home after finishing university. But in their home was someone else, someone who wasn't their biological child, yet was deeply loved by one of them. Her name was Amora, a young girl Mama Rose had taken in when she was just a little child. Her own family had abandoned her, but Mama Rose raised her like a daughter. She fed her, clothed her, comforted her in sickness, and guided her as she grew. Whenever Amora fell ill, Mama Rose stayed by her side, day and night, nursing her back to health. She called her my child and promised her that no matter what, she would always have a home. Amora grew up in that house, dreaming of one day becoming a nurse. Mama Rose supported that dream. She encouraged her, prayed for her, and reminded her that with hard work and faith, anything was possible. But not everyone in the house treated Amora the same. Papa Joe, a retired army officer, was a man of tough habits and sharp words. He had little patience for mistakes, and Amora often found herself at the end of his anger. Even when she meant no harm, a small error could earn her harsh insults and loud shouts. He never laid a hand on her, but his words left scars. Still, Mama Rose was always there, wrapping Amora in her arms, whispering gentle words to wipe away the pain. One day, everything changed. Mama Rose fell seriously ill. Her body grew weak, her voice faint, but her heart was still full of love. Knowing her time might be near, she called her children home. One by one, they came and sat by her side. She held Amora's hand and looked at her children with tired eyes. "Promise me," she said softly, "that you take care of her. She is not just a girl I helped, she is part of this family." They all nodded. Some gave their word out loud. Others simply stayed silent. A few days later, Mama Rose passed away. Her death left a heavy silence in the house. But for Amora, it was more than just silence, it was the loss of the only true love she had ever known. From that moment, life became much harder. Papa Joe's anger grew colder. The warmth that Mama Rose had brought to the house vanished. The children who had promised to look after Amora were too busy with their own lives to notice the changes. They didn't see when she stopped smiling. They didn't notice when she stopped going to school. They didn't ask questions when she skipped meals or stayed outside alone. Amora's dream of becoming a nurse slowly faded. Her notebooks remained closed. Her school uniform hung untouched. Her days were filled with silence, pain, and the kindness of strangers who sometimes gave her food. Then one evening, after another round of harsh words from Papa Joe, Amora quietly packed her few belongings and left the house. She didn't cry. She didn't say goodbye. She simply walked away from the only home she had ever known. She found shelter with a kind friend named Ada, who gave her a space to sleep and helped her find a job as a sales girl in a small shop. The work was hard, the pay was little, but Amora was grateful. At least she had peace. At least she had freedom. Life went on. Then one day, a customer came into the shop. He was polite, well-dressed, and spoke with kindness in his eyes. His name was David, a businessman who often traveled abroad. He noticed Amora, not just for her beauty, but for her honesty, her manners, and the quiet sadness she carried. He kept coming back. With each visit, they talked more, laughed more, and slowly, something grew between them, something warm and real. Months passed, and David asked Amora to marry him. She was shocked at first, unsure if she was even worthy of such love after everything she had been through. But David looked at her and said, "I don't care about your past. I believe in your future." They got married in a simple ceremony filled with joy and tears. David took Amora abroad, and for the first time in years, she felt seen, valued, and loved. With his support, she went back to school, and finally achieved what she once thought was impossible. Amora became a nurse. Not just any nurse, but one full of compassion, strength, and grace. The very kind of woman Mama Rose had believed she would one day become. Years later, Amora returned to her village. She walked through the streets where she once felt invisible. She stood before Mama Rose's grave and placed a single white flower. With tears in her eyes, she whispered, "Mama, I made it. Thank you for loving me when no one else did." And in that moment, everything made sense.